Well, hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Daily Sales Message, where each and every single day, for at least 21 days in a row now, we provide you with a piece of simple, actionable advice that's going to help you to improve your sales performance and feel more confident too. If you're new here, my name is James Newell. I teach people how to sell, and for me that comes in two parts. So it starts with having what I call a clear sales message. People need to understand what you're actually trying to sell to them, and then you need to develop selling confidence, feeling comfortable, confident and relaxed in the selling situation, and actually knowing what to do and what to say. In this episode, we are talking about equivalence. Now, equivalence sounds like a really complicated, unusual word, but it's a very, very straightforward thing. If you've ever heard somebody say, oh, we're the Uber of this or we're the Facebook of that, so we're taking something you understand and a new concept you don't quite understand and splicing the two things together, that's equivalence. So we're finding something that's equivalent. So we're using equivalence, finding something that's similar to get that level of understanding. In my own business, I use the notion with clear sales message that you've probably heard of brand guidelines, these logos, these fonts, these colors. I produce messaging guidelines, these words, terms, assets, and arguments. We're familiar with brand guidelines, and using that same notion, that equivalence, we can understand what we might expect from messaging guidelines. So today, what I want you to do is to consider, if you've got a complicated offering in particular, how can you compare your offering, what it is, what it does, how it works, to something that your buyers will actually be familiar with? How can you put it into their real world understanding, their real world context? Because if you can explain something complex by comparing it to something they already understand, then it's half the battle won. So that's your task for today. Think about simplifying your offering by comparing it to something your buyer already knows. Well, that's it for this episode of the Daily Sales Message. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the power of naming a particular part of your business. When you name it, it can really help you to sound like you know what you're talking about and to convert more people. You'll have to tune in tomorrow to check that out. Thank you for listening. If you aren't already subscribed, please do hit that button. And if you haven't already, please do feel free to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. We would really appreciate it. It helps us to reach more people. That's it for this episode of the Daily Sales Message. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.